I'm Fantasy Sports Network's Pat Mayo with the DraftKings update. Let's talk Wild Card Weekend, DraftKings NFL, and the guy that everyone wants to roster because of the price and because of the recency bias. I mean, he just did win someone $1 million in the Sunday Nighter. It's Geronimo Allison at $3,300, and when you scan the wide receiver pricing this week and you go down to the bottom, Allison kind of sticks out like a sore thumb as one of the best values on the board. But should you really be taking him in these large field tournaments where he's going to be one of the most popular players? I say no. Fade Geronimo Allison this week, and when you look at his snap count, he played 81% of the offensive snaps Week 17 at Detroit. Now, that's pretty good, especially in an offense with Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball and all the attention focused on Jordy Nelson. It leaves him able to just wander around kind of aimlessly and uncovered a lot of the time. But the Giants are a very stingy defense, both in DVOA against the run and the pass. They sit top 10, and they've allowed the 5th fewest DraftKings points to wide receivers over the course of the season. And when you look at Allison, he has 13 targets over his last 2 games. That's pretty good. And for the value, sure. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. You can use Geronimo Allison, but if you want to differentiate your team and fade a player that has just as good of a chance of scoring 0 points as he does 21 points, I think that's a very calculated move from a game theory perspective. So you can fade him, maybe use your bottom dollar to go with 2 tight ends and use one in your flex, or pay up at wide receiver and pay down a little bit at running back, as hard as that may be this week. But Geronimo Allison, for me, is going to be one of those players that just doesn't make it on my rosters this week because the ownership is going to be too high on him. So think about that when you're playing in these massive scale GPPs this week in Wild Card Weekend.